What's going on? Episode 85 of Come Lose It with me, Matt Duncan. Lose your mind? Lose some weight? You want to get rid of them cankles? We're going to lose it. You want to fucking get rid of some of that belly? Lose it. If you just want to love yourself, that's good too. There's no judgment here, whatever shape or form you're in. You know how it works here. If this is your first time, this is the only pro fast food fitness podcast in the fitness business. Okay, folks? And I'm proud of that. I'm probably one of the only fitness podcasts too that had a weight loss goal and hasn't been able to hit it in over a decade. Yes, sir. It's almost been 10 years of this pod. It's been about 9. We all know about the hiatus. We won't talk about that. But during that time, I had a very simple weight loss goal, and I clearly can't hit it, and I stopped beating myself up about it. But, I'm just trying to live a happier life. I'm trying to find that happy with myself that I've never been. So I'm making little adjustments, I'm not going to fucking wake up and be Brad Pitt one day, or, I'm almost 40, for God's sake. You know how hard it is to maintain abs if you're not, genetically inherent to having abs in your 40s? Very difficult thing to achieve. Not saying that I want abs. I just kind of want to slimmer down a bit. I want to drop a couple of sizes. That's all. I'm going to. Because we're going to talk about it in the fitness update. Got some different things that I am trying to do that I've added to my routine. But, before we get to that, this is a mental thing that I need to talk about that I have achieved. I've achieved some mental weight being taken off of my brain, and that is after 15 years, I finally deactivated my Facebook account. Yes, I know it sounds pretty ridiculous. Why are you so proud of that? So many people have done it. My wife has been off it for years, but I have to keep it for my other podcast, the one that you know as Confederacy of Dunks, because we have many different guests every week, and we got to have them. People still have Facebook Messenger. So I didn't realize. I thought it was just kind of a weird glitch that some friends way back who got rid of their Facebook were still able to use Messenger, but I thought it was just kind of I didn't think it was legit. I thought it was just something you're kind of stuck with. Maybe it was back then, but now you can deactivate, and it gives you the option where it says, do you want to delete this shit permanently, or do you just want to deactivate, get rid of your profile, and keep Messenger? So yes, I'm keeping Messenger for now, but that's it. And the good thing about it too is that I cannot see people's profiles anymore, because through Messenger, you can click on people's profiles and you can still kind of see them. You could take a peek into that yearbook, see what everyone's yearbook's doing. And I don't want to do that anymore. I'm done with that. I hate it. I hope Facebook, fucking Meta, I hope the whole thing explodes. You know how I feel about social media. I hate that I have to engage in it for my other podcasts. I fucking hate it. I hate it. And one day I'll be off all of it. One day it'll just be beautiful. But in the meantime, Facebook officially done. So, people won't have to add me and wonder why I'm not adding them. All that shit, tagging me, whatever. I'm not on it. And I'm fucking happy about that. And yes, I'm still on Instagram. Yes, I'm still on Messenger. I get it. I know all this shit about the fucking, they're all owned by fucking Meta, but at least I'm shedding it away. I'm shedding all this shit away. Hopefully I don't join TikTok, because, I just did an audition and I used green screen for the first time, and I kind of liked it. And I kind of like making little movies and stuff with green screen. So who knows? I might just, find a different cocaine, a cocaine that's blue. That's the TikTok color. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. You know what I cannot believe? I don't know if we've talked about this before, but we got some kooks incoming with the federal party in Canada. If you're, I know I got a lot of American people here, and you guys are worried about Trump. You're worried about that fucking MAGA shit. Well, we've got our own guy, this Poilievre guy, who's going to probably be the head of the Conservative Party, and he's just a fucking populist bullshit motherfucker. He's going to be, you know, no mandates, none of this, all about freedom and all this shit. He's full of crap. He's full of fucking crap. He's going to pull us out of the Kyoto Accord if he becomes prime minister. We're going to be like, we'll do more pollution here than fucking Beijing. You wait when that fucker comes into power. And then, you know, it's really tough. There's some people, because, you know, I don't follow these people, these fucking kooks, these vaccine people and stuff. I try not to follow them because they're fucking nuts. And they think that they know everything and they've done the right research and everything, but they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And, you know, if you take me to 2002 and I'm watching the fucking Winter Olympics and I'm seeing Jamie Soleil, you know, do that beautiful rendition with her husband, David Pelletier, and to get robbed of the gold and everything else, the conspiracy there, oh my God, that's where it probably started for her, when that was taken away and then given back, and then they had to share it. And, you know, Jamie Soleil, you know, her, if you don't remember, her eyes are exactly close together like a cyclops, and she is completely fucking nuts now. She's all anti-vax, she's all freedom and anti-vax. You know, this is the thing that's really bothering me. Is like this, like, hey, you can't tell me what to do with my body, but they support, you know, getting rid of abortions and stuff like that. It's just, it's a little crazy here, folks. But I'll give you a little bit of an analogy, because I don't know what it is about these people that can't understand what COVID or a plague or a disease that's a pandemic or endemic actually is. So, you know, for the American listeners, I know you guys love your guns. Just picture that, you know, you've caught this disease, you've caught this terrible cold, as you guys all think it is now. And what happens is all these little tiny guns start popping out of your skin, all over your body. All these little tiny cute guns, something, you know, a miniature version of what you'd buy at the grocery store in America or whatever, you know, at your fucking Whole Foods. I don't know. But these little tiny guns, okay, and they pop up out of your skin, and then they just start shooting. Pa, 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 pa. They're shooting like crazy, these little guns. And then as you get closer to people, you're in closer contact, these bullets are going to hit the other person. Now, the problem with these bullets is they're contagious. So these bullets will then breed more of these little guns on the next person, right? And if you don't have a vaccine in you, now those bullets are going to be a lot stronger. They're going to be like hollow point. Okay, so, you know, if you're vaccinated, there's a good chance it'll be a little bit tougher to spread this thing. Okay, that's at least what we're going on here. That's what we're trying to believe the scientists are saying. And the problem is that with the next person gets these little guns going off, right? Bam, 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 bam. And then every once in a while, you know, people can survive these gunshot wounds and they'll be okay. They might be a little bit slower. They might take out a piece of their lung. So, you know, they're going to feel a little long COVID or something for a bit. But, you know, some people are going to take the bullet and it's going to go right to their fucking head. Okay. And it's going to kill them. Right, because these are the little bullets. So the reason that there's all these mandates and stuff is just to get those little guns from going off, because you are a walking gun show. Okay, so if you are getting something into your body and it's shooting guns everywhere you go, then it's a public health risk, right? So we're trying to stop that so we can go back to not having these type of guns popping out of her skin, just the regular kind, like colds, the flu, which, you know, you can take your flu shot and hope to get the right strain. I think I'm going to get this year. So anyway, I hope this gun analogy really worked, because it doesn't seem like anything else. And if you look in that one big eye that Jamie Soleil has in her kooky fucking head, you're going to see that behind those eyes is not much of a fucking brain. Not much of a fucking brain. Ah, God, you know, some other weird stuff in this opening turd. Let me just talk about this. Did you guys ever see the movie fucking Powder when you were a kid? I did. I don't really remember what it was. I remember it was about like an albino guy. He was, you know, very white, very powdery looking. And I think, you know, lightning had a little thing for him. It was always kind of hunting him down. And, you know, he'd get teased and stuff because he looked strange. And then eventually, I think in the end, he gets hit by this lightning and he's just disappears. He's gone. Perhaps he's one with the lightning. I don't know. But I read about, like, something came up with with Francis Ford Coppola, the great Francis Ford Coppola, and I saw a response and was like, yeah, this guy, let's support this guy who, got a pedo out of jail, or like he saved him from getting more time and stuff. And I was like, what? Francis Ford Coppola? I didn't know this. Who is this pedo that Francis Ford Coppola helped? And sure enough, it was the writer for Powder. And then I looked him up, and the writer for Powder before Powder was ever made. So think about this fella trying to get this movie made in this day and age. He got this made in the mid 90s. This was 10 or so years after he raped a 12-year-old boy and went to jail for it. And I read a comment from him, and it said that Powder is he was inspired to write Powder based on what it was like for him in jail, because, they don't take well to pedos in jail, and he was taunted and, teased and alienated stuff. So the idea of this already weird movie is about the plight of a pedo in jail being attacked and teased by other inmates. I just can't. And then Francis Ford Coppola on top of it is going to bat for this guy. It's just so wild. It's so wild. So just, the next, if you haven't watched Powder, or you're doing a rewatch, because, maybe I'm ready for a rewatch of this, it is loosely tied to a pedo's experience in jail. And the last thing before we get to some birthdays here. Oh my God. If you're in Canada, you probably are hearing about this in America. Shout out to my South African listeners, my Moroccans, my Russians, my Chinese. If you know what's going on with this, Lisa LaFlemme was a big newscaster here. She got fired. And there's all this talk about it's because of her gray fucking hair. And then fucking Wendy's. Now I got to talk about this because, it's a pro fast food podcast. This is a pro fast food podcast. Wendy's made the Wendy's girl have gray hair, which is a weird... It's a nice thought, but it's so empty-handed and stupid. And it's you're putting gray hair on this child logo. Your Wendy's girl's a child, and now she's got gray hair. And you know what? I don't want to tie it together with the way Powder got treated. But if Wendy's going into grade 2 or 3 and she's got gray hair like that, wearing that fucking dress and everything else, she's probably going to get teased a little bit. So, maybe I can ask the Wendy's girl, what's her name? Becky? It's Wendy. It's Wendy. What's the Wendy's girl name? What the fuck? Oh my God. It's just, it's the times we're in, folks. You heard me ask, what is the Wendy girl's name? I am smarter than I look, but you know who's not smart? My birthday. We got some huge fucking birthdays today. Not actually huge. I lied. Not huge, but we do got Charlie Sheen in there. September 3rd. Charlie Sheen. He's fucking 57. Remember all the shit he put us through with this fucking tiger blood and all this shit? And then we found out later that he was kind of dealing with an HIV diagnosis that made him go nuts. That was a big part of it. That's why he was looking so gaunt at the time. He's fucked up on drugs and everything else, but it changes that a little bit. But I can't believe how it was 12 years ago that shit happened. Doesn't it kind of always feel like it should be 5 years behind? Noah Baumbach is 53, the director. You gotta be heady. You gotta be into his stuff. I like it, but every time you approach a Noah Baumbach, you better have your goddamn brow frowned a little bit, okay? Who else we got here? Kaya Gerber? Kaya Gerber. She's 21. Oh, that's Cindy Crawford's daughter, Kaya Gerber. And don't forget that her dad, Papa Gerber, made the tequila with George Clooney, Casamigos, a very good tequila. If you're a tequila fan, you really got to check out Kaya Gerber's dad's tequila. She will never, I don't know if she's a model like her ma, or if she's going to be an entrepreneur like her dad, but she's never, ever going to fucking pay for tequila in her life. And good tequila, mind you. Good tequila. Don't forget, you got to go down to tequila in Mexico to make it. You can't fucking make it up here, or it ain't tequila, folks. Steve Schirripa. You know him, if there's one word to do an impression of him on The Sopranos, Junior. That's it. 64. The big fella's 64. It's tough. We're losing the soprano actors more and more every day. It's scaring me. Amazingly, the fucking guy who played Junior is still alive. He's like fucking 98. Still going. And you know, God bless him. God bless him to hell. Who else we got? Maria Bamford's 52. She's a stand-up comedian. I don't know if you know her. I think I saw her at the Comedy Bar in Toronto many, many years ago. And she's very, very funny. You know, Merritt Buttrick died in 1989, but it would have been his birthday today. He was only 30 years old. Weird to see someone born in 1959 only make it to 89 and still only be 30. God, Jesus, you know, it's hard to keep track of all this stuff. I don't know who he is. He looks kind of a little bit, I like his name. What can I say? He was in Star Trek. He was David in the Star Trek movies. You know, David. Oh, he had like a little rat tail. I like it. What else we got? Let's go to the entertainment news. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings came out last year on this day. You know, Simu Liu, he's from Kim's Convenience here in Canada. And my friend once tweeted about how Kim's Convenience sucked. And Simu Liu got back to him and was like, why don't you just give it a shot? He fucking actually was like following Kim's Convenience news and shit. And he tweeted back at my friend. It was like, fuck you, man. It's good. We're like, I don't know, man. It's kind of shit.
Fitness update.
Okay, guys, fitness update. We're keeping this thing fucking going here, folks. Okay? My fitness update. This is what... Okay, listen. This is what I've been doing. I'm trying to get back into... I mean, from like a human standpoint. Not something that I did as an exercise. But I'm trying to walk more. One of my favorite comedians, David Mitchell from the show Peep Show. If you haven't seen Peep Show, you should check it out. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. But I read his memoir years ago called Backstory, and it was about his life, but it was also about his bad back. So he's going through his life, but at the time, he figured he did all these different things. He went to doctors. His back was fucking crazy. And the one thing that corrected it and made it better for him was he just started walking. He started fucking walking, and that's what. So throughout the memoirs, him just walking around London, you know, and then going into his life. So you know, it's a nice little biography gimmick, if I may say. And especially the back has been a big part of his life. You know, when you have back problems, man, it takes up a lot of space in your fucking life. It does. It just does. So I've had some back issues. You know, I still got this tricky leg. I got this tricky quad. I don't know what's going on. It's so tight. I think it's like the sitting and the exercise bike. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But anyways, I said, you know what? I got this little health book now. I keep track of all the kilometers I do on my stationary bike. The kilometers I walk on when I'm going outside. I also keep track of a little garbage log of like when I eat fast food or pizza or something like that. So I can see the date and go, oh, okay, I had a Big Mac on this day. Okay, it's been a month or something like that. You know, like just this is how I work. I got to have all these little reminders that I can go over, and I like to do it in a soft book. If I can get a nice soft shelled book that's got a little bookmarky tag in it, then I'm halfway home here, folks. So I'm walking, and I think of like the last 7 days or so, I've walked 6 days, and I'm averaging about 3 kilometers a day. You know, I'm going out at night after work. Sometimes I'm going midday. I'm going to go for maybe a little walk. It's a little hot out there today. I don't know if I'm going to my college or not. It is the long weekend. It is Labor Day long weekend, and I don't know. I don't think I'm going to go because it is getting late, and I just don't feel like it. So I think I'm going to stay in. I think I'm going to stay in, but I'm going to go for that walk again today. there's a lot of anxiety and stuff tied into walking for me right now. I don't know if it was because of the pandemic and being stuck at home and never leaving and being so comfortable in my own little cocoon here that I start to get anxious when I walk and, I get far from home, or I don't know what it is. It's like it never happened to me before, and it's happened throughout the pandemic, so I'm trying to remember that like walking is your fucking best feature that you have to get anywhere. You got to turtle that shit. You can walk across the country, no problem, for free. So I'm trying to get back into it because I used to walk like a motherfucker when I was in the city. But now that I live in the burbs, everybody's just kind of walking in circles here because there's no like community place to go and, stop for a coffee or get some dessert or get a fucking croissant or get like there's not that nearby. There's only like one specific spot, but it's like everybody's driving into it or, it's not exactly walkable for me. Not like it was in the city. But the nice thing that we do have here is we have a lot of quiet streets. Quiet. So like you go for a walk at night and it's just like very nice. Really enjoy doing that. Still get a little bit of the anxiety. Had a little bit for the first time last night. Took a big hill. I'm trying to conquer some of the big hills where I live. And, it's just like you get to, it's fucking steep. It fucking gets the heart going. And you're like, oh, fuck. And, I got to fucking talk myself down because everything in life is just unnatural. Everything's unnatural for me, for fuck's sake. So that is something I'm working on. I'm still doing the bike. Sometimes I do a walk, come home and do the bike. I'm getting back into the weights and stuff like that. But yeah, like very, very minimally, I'm just trying to get a walk in every day if I don't do anything else. And I think it's going to really help. Going back to David Mitchell, the comedian, in his book, he started to lose weight just because he was walking. And I noticed it on the show. And I was like, wow, he's looking really good because he looked like a guy that only ate deep fried foods in London, like fucking chips and fish and cottage log. And he had that look. He did not look healthy the first few seasons. And then he started to look like he was losing, he looked good. I'm not saying that overweight doesn't look good. He wasn't looking healthy. There's a lot of big people that look healthy. Yeah, but this guy did not. And he wasn't even that big. It just kind of seemed like, oh, you're not looking good. And he didn't really change anything about his diet. He just started walking like a fucking maniac. So walking, great way to lose weight without having to think about it. You put on a podcast, you get lost in it. It's fucking fascinating. It's fucking beautiful, babe. So that's what's going on with me in the fitness. I haven't stepped on the scale yet. I don't want to get discouraged by that, but I think that I'm going to be on my way and things are going to get pretty fucking good. I'm starting to feel, a little positive.
Health news. News that is health related.
Okay, let's go through a couple articles that I found. One is a real tit slapper, dumb, it's one of the 7 signs kind of articles, but I think it's good just for people to think about because I think about this a lot when I'm dehydrated. Am I dehydrated? Some days I don't drink water and I'm like fucking I'm feeling really fucked up by the end of the day. I'm feeling foggy. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling a bit like nauseous. It's like, and I talked to a friend about it and he said if I don't have enough water, it really fucks with me. And later in the day, I just can't focus and whatnot. So I found this article on Real Simple. Okay. Now, Real Simple, it's just a little health magazine. And it's just something to consider, if you're experiencing any of these, maybe you're dehydrated. Okay. Number 1, you have bad breath. Okay. Bad breath has many causes, but one of them is dehydration. And that's because there's a saliva, and saliva has antibacterial properties. So if you're not producing enough saliva because you're not drinking enough water, then that bacteria is going to grow in your mouth, right? So, when you're dehydrated, your salivary production goes down. You get it, right? You get it. There's many reasons why it could be. You got to brush your teeth. You got to brush that tongue. But, some people don't eat enough. But bad breath, dehydration can be one of them. You're not drinking enough water. 2, you feel hungry. I do get this one. I do get these fucking pangs sometimes. Sometimes when I'm working through the day and it's like, oh, I need to eat something when I haven't had much water. And really, it's just my body craving water. of course you're going to be hungry, and in that case you need to replenish yourself. But if you're having certain cravings often for salty foods, it's because you're thirsty. 3, your head's pounding. Okay, you got that bad headache. I get this a lot. I remember reading somewhere that there's like, oh, it's like your body's going to the brain for water now. It's like squeezing it out like a sponge. I don't know if that's true. They really don't understand, but there is a working theory that pain receptors in the brain are attached to the meninges, and that, there's layers that protect your brain, and being dehydrated can cause the fluid to shift out of the brain, putting pressure on the meninges and stimulating the pain receptors. So that's kind of why they think you get headaches. Not because I guess I was kind of right. It's like transferring fluid out, but it's not exactly squeezing it like a sponge into your belly. 4, your focus is off. Get this a lot. See, you've talked about this at night. You're feeling sluggish. You can't fucking focus on shit. You just drink some fucking water. It's like Adderall Light, baby. And another one, constipated. Yeah, if you're not drinking enough water, you need that fucking water. God, you just got to drink it, okay? Because you get constipated from dehydration, and then you're pushing a loaf out there, and it's just not going anywhere. It's not good. I don't know. A lot of people fucking get constipated apparently, and like only go a few times a week or something. That's fucking crazy to me. I don't fucking know. Well, I'm a person who takes Psyllium though. Mood. You're grumpy. You feeling a bit grumpy? You think you're hangry. You're just, thangry. You're thangry a little bit. Don't be thangry, okay? Make sure, are you hangry? Are you thangry? I don't know. So you got to make sure that, if you're drinking enough water and you're grumpy, then maybe you're just fucking grumpy. Hey, it's okay to be grumpy sometimes. And the last one I'll say is that your skin feels a little less elastic. So, a good way to test if you're dehydrated apparently is to just, pinch your skin on your hand. And when you release it, does it go back or does it kind of slowly go back? And if you're hydrated, it should snap right back into place immediately. And if not, if it's like some slow fucking putty going back, Jesus Christ, please drink some water. Okay, so yeah, we got to get more water in us. Problem is, we're apparently running out of water. Keep your eyes on California. They are in a fucking major issue there. They've got a major drought coming. They're going to be, apparently cutting off the water and shit for people just to conserve. Pretty fucked up. It's like, I don't know, what am I supposed to go make it there? If I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. Well, I better bring my own fucking water from Canada. I better get a fucking giant tube, a big fucking tube running from Ontario away from the fucking Great Lakes, eh? Fucking right to fucking LA, eh? Right to the place I'm renting, eh? Fuck it, eh? Yeah. Then the next thing is, a bit of a scary situation happened. This always worries me. This always fucking worries me when I go to restaurants, especially, like I love little fucking creepy, weird restaurants, and you hear that they're good and they might be a little dingy looking or something, but they don't kill anybody. But this place in Markham, Ontario apparently did. It had aconite powder in the food, and a bunch of people were getting like heart arrhythmias, had to go to the hospital. A bunch of people were in critical condition. They were in the ICU from a tainted sand ginger powder that was purchased at some market or something, and I guess it was put into a chicken dish, and a lot of people got sick. And it's like it comes from like a plant called like monkshood. It's a common name for a plant called aconitum, I think, aconitum, the root of which looks very similar to the ginger root and contains the toxin aconitinine. And that can cause nausea, vomiting, dizziness, weakness, irregular ventricle contractions, and in severe cases, death. So nobody has died from this, but pretty fucking scary. I don't want to get any of that fucking aconite in me. No aconite, please. No aconite in the fucking chicken, please. I don't want any of the fucking aconite. I don't want any of that night. All right? God, just give me the regular food poisoning where I just shit for weeks, water. And speaking of which, I'll just move on. As a warning for people, we were trying to. My wife made brownies, and she's trying to at times use alternatives to sugar because sugar is not good for you. So there's one thing called xylitol, and it's very expensive, but you can put it in your baked goods and it makes it sweet and it's not bad. We've had it for years. It's been fine. But I guess this one time she put a little bit too much xylitol, and you got to be real fucking careful about how much of xylitol you're putting in your fucking brownies here, because she put them in the fucking brownies. And that night we were both on the toilet all night. I was like, is it the fucking, I made these like vegetarian burritos. I was like, is it the beans or something? What the fuck? She's like, is the can dented on the beans? I'm like, I don't know. Let me go check the can. Can's fine. But she made these brownies and we had them after. And sure enough, a few days later, tested again, diarrhea. So yeah, be careful with the xylitol. If you're baking with it, it apparently does and can cause diarrhea. It's a laxative. So if you are having some issues though, you got that constipation from the dehydration or whatever, just fucking lump in some xylitol into those fucking brownies and you're going to have a fucking, you're going to be Old Faithful on there, babe. Okay, so like I've been watching a lot of dark stuff on the internet, not on the internet, on just streamers. It sounds a little different if you say, "Oh, I watch dark things on the internet." Oh, like what? Oh no, sorry, like Netflix and Crave TV, just docs. Yeah, I don't watch fucked up things like people killing cats or anything like that stuff. No, I'm not into that. Unless there's a doc about it, then I'll watch that. Don't fuck with cats, but. So I've been watching, I was a big fan of the dark side of wrestling. I'm not a wrestling fan. I had a friend who worked as part of the crew on this Vice show that's on Crave in Canada called Dark Side of Wrestling. And it was really cool just to learn how fucked up all these wrestlers are. None of them have a good story. It seems like they're all used as like monkeys and don't get paid enough and do steroids and their hearts give out and drugs and da. But it was really well done. And shout out to Dan Tamizian, who did a fantastic job as part of the DP team there. So now Vice is doing a new one called The Dark Side of Comedy. So I've been watching that. I think you guys should check it out. The first episode was about Chris Farley, one of my favorite comedians ever. It gives you a good bit of a surface layer of his life and his downfall and what happened to him. But then, also it goes on to Andrew Dice Clay. I mean, you kind of learn about his like misogynist character that he did in his arenas and concerts and how it kind of was like it really brought out a lot of homophobia and racism in white men and made them proud and loud. And look at where we are today with all the MAGA shit. So I was too young for his act to really, I've only seen the clips and stuff, and I don't find him funny at all. And it's just like a dumb character. I don't think he's funny at all. I think he's an okay actor though. But so anyways, goes into that, goes into Roseanne. Cool fucking thing. I love the dark shit, dark side of comedy. I watched this what's really nice about the Amazon docs there is that they have like lots of little 45-minute docs. There's a great one on the Beirut explosion that happened a couple years ago, which was fucking crazy. I remember seeing clips of that where, they were just keeping like ammonium nitrate in a fucking warehouse on a dock, and they tried for years to get rid of it. And the government was just like, fuck it, well, whatever. And then for some reason, there was also fireworks being stored there. Like that seems a bit fucking crazy, right? Fireworks being stored with this ammonium nitrate or whatever. I don't even know if that's the right word, but it was bad stuff. And then it exploded like a fucking atom bomb. And because we live in this age, it was caught on a million different phones, and holy fuck, that would be really fucking scary. Just feeling that fucking shockwave go through. Yeah, anyway, 45-minute doc, you're in, you're out. The last doc I'll say, like I'm watching the Army Hammer one right now, not loving it. It's the pacing's not very good. It's getting into how fucked up Army Hammer's family is and stuff like that. And especially him and his ropes and everything else and his rape. he's selling timeshares now. So I don't know. He's probably he's going to do his fucking timeshare, sell some timeshares. He's going home and he's watching this now. But yeah, I don't know. Something feels really fucked up about it. And it's coming out that maybe not all the the survivors were really on board with having the shit exploited, which is kind of fucked up. So anyway, but that's what you get when you're into the dark docs. I did watch this one called The Anarchists or something. It's about these anarchists that moved to Acapulco from America in, say 10 years ago or something like that. And they're just trying to like rebuild their own anarchist community in Acapulco. And they think that Mexico's a failed state, so it's the perfect place to begin. And, you can go and watch it. It just feels like another doc where it's like flat earthers. It's just like, they're just people that want a community. They're just like outcasts, weirdos. They're running from the law for some people. It's like they're weirdos and they just don't, they're tired of the system or whatever. That's really what it is. They're just they're weirdos. It was okay. It was okay. I will say, just be prepared. At one point, they will show you a very jaundiced man on his deathbed, and it's horrible. It really fucking bothered me, and it's still kind of burned in my head. This yellow butter man just, it was horrible. It was horrible. So just be prepared for that if you want to see like an ultra jaundiced, like a man with no liver at this point. It was just not, it was not to my liking. But the last thing I'll talk about, I got to talk about the PMG. You know who the fucking PMG is? He's the postmaster, not the postmaster. He's the plug master general. That's right. Elon Musk. And this guy is so full of shit. He's such a good con artist though, with his cars and his business and stuff that he bought, the Tesla business. Like they sell like 200,000 cars or 300,000 cars a year. That's it. That's all they sell. And they survive on these government credits for them being e-cars or, electronic cars. Crazy to see that California, by the way, they're like putting into law that like you cannot buy new gasoline cars soon anymore. You can only buy electric cars. That's fucking crazy. That's a big deal. I just hope that I would love an electric car. I just hope that they make them more affordable, because they're so expensive. But yeah, I know you got to take into consideration the gas and whatnot. Back to fucking Postmaster fucking plug. Postmaster plug. Oh, Jesus Christ. So he's saying that there's going to be 1 million people on Mars by 2050. That's, it's just a shade under 25 years. 1 million people on Mars he thinks is going to happen. Do you think that motherfucker? Now, he'll be way too old to go. He won't go. He wouldn't go if he could go tomorrow, if it was all fucking ready to go. There's no fucking way we're getting 1 million people to Mars. Ever. Okay? I don't understand the obsession with fucking going to Mars. There's no atmosphere. Can't breathe the atmosphere. There's no resources. So it's like we got to like come with a bunch of shit to be able to fucking live there and grow food and hopefully not get sick and need medical attention and, things that, it's like you can't say time out and get someone to come and help. In a great doc called Spaceship Earth, came out a couple years ago. You should watch that because there was something called Biosphere 2. Biosphere 2 was an experiment that they did, and it's like, they created that planetarium, whatever the fuck you want to call it, world, like, and they locked 8 people in for 2 years to see if they could live in there without oxygen being pumped in and stuff like that. Could they grow crops? It was very cool to see. And it kind of came from a very hippie-ish beginning where these people like built a ship and sailed around the world, which is pretty fucking cool. They're like smart hippies. They were smart hippies in the 60s. But then this project came along later, and you can just see why it didn't fucking work. Okay, they immediately, like, someone gets hurt, they got to leave the fucking bubble to get like surgery. The experiment is over. It's dead because you can't do that on fucking Mars. And then they couldn't control the oxygen and the carbon dioxide. Okay, and you could see like the carbon dioxide was getting too high. They're getting sluggish and slow. They can't fucking exercise. They can one guy's saying like we got to learn like intense yoga so we're not breathing as much. Like, oh my God. And then they fucking finally said, fuck it. Let's just pump oxygen in for these guys so they can at least just continue, it's like one of those experiments where like 8 people get crammed into a hatchback and the last person standing gets to keep the car for charity. That's what it turned into, because it was kind of pointless at that point, because as soon as they started pumping oxygen into that fucking place, they were dancing and running around and they were fucking having a great time, fucking eating their beets and whatnot. But yeah, it just showed, well, what the fuck are you going to do on Mars? Oh, we'll send you a tank. It'll be there in 8 months. Hopefully it doesn't explode when it gets like exposed to the solar radiation that you have to drive through. Hopefully it's not irradiated oxygen. Fucking idiot. This guy. He's just a fucking, all the shit. I knew when he fucking said he was going to buy Twitter, he was going to back out. He's so full of shit. And he's just going to keep having kids because he says we're not. Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck Elon Musk. I don't know. What do you think? You think that's enough? Okay, listen. Before I end the podcast, I'll say that next week I'm going on holidays. I'm going up to my wife's cottage. I've recorded up there before, and I'm thinking about doing it again. And possibly there is a vegan correspondent coming up to join. So maybe I'll get him in on the podcast and we'll just do a nice kind of cottage laid back thing, and I'll fucking edit all the shit in later, but we'll just kind of keep it chatty Mugatti. We'll keep that chatterooey. What do you think? All right, guys, that's it. 85. We're getting closer to that 100. What are we gonna do? You gonna rent out the fucking Massey Hall or some shit? What am I gonna do? I'm going to get Hal Johnson, Joanne McLeod. What am I going to do? Thanks for listening. Make sure to subscribe on all your fucking things and enjoy the Labor Day weekend, folks. Don't you dare fucking wear white.